Good evening, friends! Thank you for being here today. In a world that often feels unpredictable and chaotic, where our emotions swing wildly like a pendulum from joy to frustration, finding peace and calm can seem like an impossible task. Yet, across the centuries, one ancient philosophy has consistently shown us the way: Stoicism. Stoicism is a school of thought that originated in ancient Greece with thinkers like Zeno, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. The core teachings of Stoicism are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. Stoics believed that the path to a good life wasn't about accumulating wealth, status, or pleasure, but about cultivating inner peace through wisdom, virtue, and self-control. This wisdom, when applied to our daily lives, can help us weather life's storms with calm and clarity. The Stoic approach to life offers not just a series of philosophical ideas, but a practical framework for navigating challenges, keeping our emotions in check, and developing a deeper sense of gratitude and purpose. Stoicism teaches that our external circumstances do not dictate our happiness; how we respond to those circumstances does. This insight gives us the freedom to decide how we experience life, no matter the turbulence around us. One of the most enduring lessons of Stoicism is the understanding that we are in control of our internal state. The external world is often unpredictable and beyond our reach, but how we choose to perceive it and respond to it remains firmly in our hands. This realization is powerful because it removes the sense of helplessness that often accompanies difficult situations. We are not passive recipients of life's challenges; we are active participants in how we engage with them. Think about your daily life. How many times do you find yourself stressing over things beyond your control? A colleague's behavior, the economy, or events unfolding halfway around the world. While these things are real, they are not yours to control. Stoicism teaches us to focus our attention and energy on what we can influence: our own actions, our mindset, and our reactions to the world. This simple shift can dramatically alter how we experience life's challenges. By acknowledging what is within our control, we stop wasting energy on futile worry and begin to take action in areas where we can make a difference. This doesn't mean we become indifferent to the world around us or to the people we love. It means that we learn to respond to life's ups and downs with wisdom and composure, rather than reacting with frustration, anger, or fear. This lesson is liberating because it reminds us that the power to create change begins with us. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we can control how we interpret and react to those events. By focusing on what we can control, we free ourselves from the tyranny of anxiety and step into a more peaceful, empowered way of living. Next time you feel overwhelmed by circumstances, pause and ask yourself, what is within my control? And then channel your energy into those areas. This practice is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy, and it provides a pathway to a more grounded, peaceful existence. Through this mindset, we begin to realize that our inner peace does not depend on the external world, but on the thoughts, attitudes, and decisions we cultivate within ourselves. The second lesson from Stoicism revolves around the transformative power of adversity. It teaches us to embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth. In a world that often idolizes success and shuns failure, it can be hard to see challenges as anything other than obstacles in our way. But the Stoics had a radically different view. They believed that adversity is not something to fear or avoid, but something to embrace. Challenges, according to Stoicism, are the very circumstances that allow us to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset invites us to reconsider our approach to difficulties. Instead of viewing them as hindrances to our happiness or success, we can reframe them as opportunities, tools that shape our character and sharpen our resolve. Take a moment to think about the most difficult moments in your life. Often, it is in these moments of struggle that we discover our true strength. Adversity forces us to dig deep within ourselves, to tap into resources we didn't know we had, and to build resilience. When things are easy, we don't often learn the lessons that hard times can teach us. It's through facing challenges head-on that we develop the skills, the mindset, and the confidence needed to handle even greater obstacles in the future. The Stoics did not romanticize suffering, but they understood that hardship is inevitable. They recognized that life is full of moments that challenge us, whether it's a personal setback, a loss, or an unexpected difficulty. Instead of trying to escape these moments, the Stoic approach encourages us to meet them with acceptance and a sense of purpose. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective can transform our relationship with adversity. By practicing this mindset, we begin to see that challenges are not something to be feared or resented, but an essential part of the process of becoming the best versions of ourselves. Life will never be free from difficulties, but we can choose how we respond to them. In doing so, we turn every challenge into a stepping stone on our path to personal growth and wisdom. Moreover, embracing adversity doesn't mean we should welcome suffering for suffering's sake. Rather, it means that we recognize the value in every situation, whether positive or negative. It means that when life is hard, we understand that we have the capacity to navigate it with dignity and grace. We can approach each challenge with a mindset of resilience, knowing that our growth is a product of how we respond to these difficulties. And in this way, adversity no longer feels like something we have to endure, but something we actively learn from and use to our advantage. The third lesson from Stoicism is one that invites us to slow down and truly appreciate the present moment. It teaches us to practice gratitude for the present moment, a powerful tool for cultivating peace and contentment in a world that often encourages us to rush through life, constantly seeking the next thing. In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented society, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of thinking that happiness lies somewhere in the future once we achieve that promotion, buy that house, or take that vacation. We often become so focused on the next goal that we overlook the richness of what we already have. Stoicism challenges this mindset by urging us to focus on the present and find contentment in the now. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." By practicing gratitude for the present moment, we shift our attention away from the constant desire for more. We begin to recognize the value of what we already have, and in doing so, we uncover a deeper sense of fulfillment. The Stoics believed that happiness is not something that can be found in the future, but something that can be cultivated in the here and now. When we take time to appreciate the small, everyday moments, whether it's the warmth of the sun on our face, the sound of a loved one's voice, or the simple pleasure of a good meal, we open ourselves to a deeper, more lasting sense of well-being. Gratitude, according to the Stoics, is a practice that shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. It reminds us that much of our suffering comes not from our circumstances, but from our constant longing for more. When we are constantly striving for something else, we miss out on the beauty and peace that exists in the present moment. By practicing gratitude, we train ourselves to notice the good that is already around us, rather than fixating on what we don't have. This practice of being mindful of the present doesn't mean we stop striving for growth or improvement. Stoicism encourages us to set goals and work toward them. However, it also teaches us to be fully present and appreciative of where we are right now, even as we work towards something better. By finding contentment in the present, we are no longer dependent on future circumstances to define our happiness. Instead, we find peace in the here and now. The practice of gratitude can also help us navigate moments of difficulty. When life feels overwhelming or challenging, focusing on what we are grateful for can help shift our perspective. It allows us to remember that even in hard times, there is still much to appreciate, whether it's the support of friends and family, the lessons we're learning, or the resilience we're building. Gratitude serves as a reminder that there is always something good in our lives, even when things seem bleak. Incorporating gratitude into our daily routine doesn't require grand gestures or significant changes. It's about cultivating a mindset that looks for the positives in every situation. It can be as simple as taking a moment each day to reflect on the things you are thankful for, or reminding yourself to pause and notice the beauty in everyday experiences. As we practice this, we begin to shift our focus from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. And in doing so, we cultivate a sense of peace that comes from within. The fourth lesson from Stoicism is about cultivating resilience through rational thinking. It teaches us to approach life's challenges not with impulsive reactions or unchecked emotions, but with a calm and rational mind. When we face difficult situations, our immediate responses are often driven by strong emotions: fear, anger, frustration, or sadness. While these emotions are natural, they can cloud our judgment and prevent us from responding effectively. Stoicism, however, encourages us to pause and use reason to guide our actions, allowing us to maintain control over our reactions and navigate adversity with composure. Resilience, in this context, is not just about enduring hardship, it's about doing so with a clear mind, without letting emotions overwhelm us. The Stoics believe that our emotional reactions are often the result of faulty thinking, and that by training ourselves to think more rationally, we can change the way we feel and respond to the world. Epictetus, one of the central Stoic philosophers, taught that we should not be disturbed by events themselves, but by our judgments of those events. In other words, it's not what happens to us that causes suffering, but how we interpret it. If we can learn to think more rationally about what happens, we can change the way we react emotionally. When we face a setback or challenge, our initial response may be to feel overwhelmed or defeated. But if we take a step back and examine the situation through a rational lens, we can begin to see it for what it is, a situation we can choose how to respond to. Rather than letting fear or anger take over, we can ask ourselves, what is the most logical course of action here? What can I learn from this? How can I approach this challenge with clarity and reason? This rational approach helps us avoid the knee-jerk reactions that often escalate problems. When we react impulsively, we might make decisions we later regret or allow our emotions to dictate our behavior, causing unnecessary stress and conflict. By practicing rational thinking, we become more thoughtful and intentional in our responses. We recognize that every situation is an opportunity to exercise control over our thoughts and actions, and that our emotions don't have to govern us. In addition to helping us manage our emotions, rational thinking also strengthens our resilience in the face of difficulty. Resilience isn't just about enduring tough situations, it's about bouncing back from them and learning how to navigate future challenges more effectively. By applying reason to our struggles, we build the mental muscle to face adversity without being shaken to the core. Over time, this practice of rational thinking builds our emotional strength, making it easier to handle whatever life throws our way. Stoicism teaches us that we are not at the mercy of our emotions, but that we have the power to control them by changing the way we think. When we respond to challenges with reason and reflection, we develop a sense of inner calm and steadiness. Instead of feeling tossed around by every emotional wave, we become anchored in a mindset that allows us to think clearly, make better decisions, and maintain our composure even in the most difficult of circumstances. The overarching message of Stoicism is that true peace is not found in external circumstances, but in the way we engage with the world and respond to the challenges life presents. Stoicism teaches us that inner peace is something we can cultivate through our choices, attitudes, and actions. It is not a passive state, nor is it something that can be given to us by external events or people. Instead, it is an active, ongoing practice, one that requires intention and mindfulness. When we adopt Stoic principles, we begin to realize that peace is not the absence of conflict, nor is it a state where everything around us aligns perfectly with our desires. Instead, it is the result of how we choose to approach the world. When we focus on what is within our control, embrace adversity as an opportunity to grow, and practice gratitude for the present moment, we start to build a solid foundation of peace that cannot easily be shaken by external forces. One of the core Stoic beliefs is that we must learn to live in accordance with nature. This means accepting that life is full of unpredictability, imperfection, and change. The Stoics recognize that life's nature is not always easy or fair. Pain, loss, and suffering are inevitable parts of being human. However, they believe that it is our response to these challenges that defines our character and our peace of mind, rather than trying to resist or control the uncontrollable. Stoicism teaches us to accept life as it comes, while remaining grounded in our own values and virtues. When we stop resisting the inevitable and let go of our attachment to how things should be, we free ourselves from the constant battle against reality. We begin to find peace in acceptance, in trusting that whatever happens, we have the ability to handle it with wisdom and grace. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves to passivity or complacency. Rather, it means acknowledging that while we cannot control every aspect of life, we can always control how we engage with it. The key to Stoic peace is also rooted in the idea that happiness and contentment come from within, not from external sources. We often look to outside achievements, career success, material possessions, or social approval to bring us lasting happiness. However, Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from living in accordance with virtue, focusing on the things that truly matter, and being at peace with who we are. By shifting our focus away from external validation and placing it instead on cultivating inner virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-control, we begin to experience a deeper sense of peace. In practice, this means that no matter what happens in the external world, whether we face hardship or success, we remain grounded in our own sense of self-worth and purpose. We do not define ourselves by external achievements, but by how we respond to the challenges life throws at us. Stoicism invites us to live with purpose, to act with integrity, and to find meaning in everything we do, rather than depending on fleeting external circumstances for our sense of fulfillment. In the end, Stoicism offers us a pathway to peace not by eliminating hardship, but by teaching us how to navigate it with wisdom, resilience, and composure. It shows us that our peace of mind doesn't have to be contingent on the world outside of us. When we align our actions with our values, focus on what we can control, and cultivate gratitude and resilience, we build an inner foundation that is steady, no matter what life brings our way. This internal peace is lasting and unshakable, because it comes from within, not from the ever-changing world around us. Through Stoicism, we discover that we can maintain calm and clarity in any situation, and in doing so, create a life of true inner peace.